Does it happen to you that when you manifest something, when you meditate, when you go all in, then you feel so good in your manifested reality that you don't meditate at all anymore, and you are actually not giving yourself time to develop and to transform your life even further, and you just feel so demotivated until something doesn't work out. Here is answer in this video why it's happening and why you are demotivated to manifest further in your life.
We were asking you guys to write us your current manifestation struggle, and we got one answer from one of our viewers, and we wanted to share it today with you because it's so funny because it's like I wrote it. Here's the struggle from our viewer. When I feel terrible, I start meditations, and in 1 month I elevate my emotions and feel very well. I can continue meditations maximum 2 months, then I stop meditating. And I restart when I feel low. That's a loop for me. Another thing for manifestation, for example, I earn 4K suddenly out of nowhere and I get very excited about it, and I start to look for it again, and because of the expectation, I block myself. It happens very often. When I forget about money, it comes again. Thank you guys, much love. She was saying that she wanted to manifest the income of $5,000 every month, and this struggle is so real for a lot of us, and I felt like I wrote it because I have been dealing with this for so long. You know, when you have kind of a good life, you're feeling fine, you're all right, then you don't have this strong motivation to start meditating and create a better future, because we humans, or our bodies, are so wired for comfort. There's this saying that says bad times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men create bad times. This is the cycle, and it's so much in our human psychology that we only truly want to change when we feel really bad, really low, when we are at rock bottom. Then we have all of a sudden this energy in us, this capability to get out of it. We slide down slowly the slope, we start to feel a little bit worse, and it's still doable, manageable, but at some point it's so bad, when it's at the absolute worst, it's almost a miracle that we have the energy and the capacity to pull ourselves out of there. But we don't want to create this way. We don't want to still wait for that worst case scenario, for that breakdown, until we can finally change and create a better life for us. We want to do it when we are actually feeling inspired, and when we are feeling calm and things are good in our life.
And one story for all. In 2008 I was flying in a very small plane from Prague to other small city. It was a 30-minute flight which took 1 hour because we flew in a storm Emma. It was incredibly tough flight because we thought the whole flight that the plane will turn upside down. It was really bad. Staff was saying nothing. Flight attendants were sitting. Nobody spoke a word. Nobody probably believed that we will land well. And then people started to be like calling these things really curse words, you know, and me too. And then you just want to thank God and you want to connect to the God. When you are like really in a deep mud, you always remember the God, the Creator. Now you believe that there is something more, and something more has to take over and solve your life. When you get diagnosis, when you get trauma, when you have something where you don't see the way out of, you always turn to the higher potential, higher energy, something greater than you, because you know deep down that there is something which can organize it for you if you connect to it very well. But why not to be connected to this energy all the time? Why do you have to still only connect to this energy when you have struggle, when you need something out of need, out of lack? Why don't we connect to this out of abundance and curiosity and awe and just wonder?
I'm so happy you're saying it, because it is also not really fair to the universe, we could say, that we are all the time just living our own life and we think we have it all figured out, and we are the managers and the controllers of our life, but only when things are going bad we say, oh God, you know, I love you and I thank you and please help me, please help me.
It's like parents, you know, have kids and those kids come to them only when they want to borrow money.
Yes.
Or when they want something,
Yes.
you don't like that.
The parents don't like that.
You also don't like those friends who call you and ask you how you are whenever they need something from you. You don't like that. And maybe the divine feels a little bit like they would unconditionally give it to us, the divine energy, but maybe it would be nicer to show up more often.
Yeah, universe will be like, hey, nice that you remember me again. The universe always has your back. It will always support you and be there for you. But it is also not only for the universe, but also for our body. I feel our duty, especially we who know that this work exists, that we can meditate and we can connect with this greater energy, and that we who know that we are all one and we came from source and we want to make an effort to connect to it while we are here in this physical body. I feel that we owe it to our body because it is a gift in this lifetime. It has been given to us. It's here for a limited time for us, and that we really nourish it, because the meditations are just as important as going for a walk or eating good food. It is nourishment for the soul, it's nourishment for the body. And people say that sleep is the best medicine, and I feel when we connect in meditation, when we connect to that energy, this is that energy. When we are getting out of the way, that's when the body really restores and regenerates itself.
And if you feel like you are out of motivation to meditate, to connect to yourself, to your heart, what is more important than to connect to yourself and your heart in meditations? We also had a phase that we had to do Dr. Joe's meditations, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And we thought if we don't do those particular meditations, then we are not meditating. But actually what I'm practicing lately is when I'm calming myself down before I fall asleep or I'm waking up and I'm just tuning into my body my way. This is my way how to connect to my body. You can make up your own way. You don't have to meditate for hours a day. Like with Dr. Joe Dispenza, you can have a pause, you can have a break and meditate like this when you want to really boost your creativity or creation. But it's good to find your own ritual which will make you connected to yourself, because if you don't feel motivated like meditating or so, maybe it became a habit, maybe it became such a logical thing which you have to tick, and it's not anymore in a level of creation, but it's maybe on a level of survival where you have to grind, where you have to really push it, where you have to push yourself. But it's becoming more instrumental and not anymore fun for you, not creating. You just have to understand that the mind can be very lazy.
Yes, our viewer was saying that she's doing the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. That's her tool for transformation. And we all know Dr. Joe's meditations are taking a bit longer. And when we do his work and we hear his testimonials, we think this is the only way how we can achieve our dreams, how we can get to our future. But that's not the truth. Other people do it with the law of attraction. Rhonda Byrne, who wrote the book The Secret, her approach is very simple. It's just you speak things into existence and you remind yourself every day of what future that you want to live in. And I think it's important that we start to play with it more, like Petra said, that we start to make it our own. Okay, let's make it really something that I can look forward to.
I was very strict at myself, and I thought that okay, I don't care. My mind didn't care about my own way how to connect to me. I just had to do Dr. Joe's meditations, and that was it. That was the thing for me, the drill. But then I'm realizing I started to be a bit tired of it, and sometimes it's really cool to be with my body and not hear anything but nothing, but birds or whatever you are surrounded with. And it's absolutely fine, because we love Dr. Joe, but we don't have to have him in our ears 3 times a day per hour and a half or something, and it's absolutely healthy. It's an evolution of us. It's absolutely progressing us to something else, something better. When you started to be a chef, you wanted to cook, you had to follow recipes, and Dr. Joe Dispenza gives us recipes. He gives us his formula. But then when you know the recipes, you start to create your own upgraded recipes, and without reading any instructions or anything, you just play. Sometimes it's a mess and you have to eat it, throw it away or something, but sometimes it's an amazing thing and you want to repeat it because it's your own recipe.
Dr. Joe doesn't say that anymore, but he used to say about 5-6 years ago that he wanted us to really play with this. If we say we have energy stuck in our second or in our third center, that we just put our attention there, like without meditations, we listen to some music, we calm down, and he really wanted us to play with that. Like he gave us the blessing of the energy centers meditations, for example, but he said, he mixes things up, he tries new things, and I mean, there's no limitation to just one meditation that we can do. We can really be creative.
Yeah, and once in a past, somebody asked Dr. Joe if he does his own meditations, and the answer was something like, do you think I'm wanting to listening to myself all the time in the headphones? It's crazy. And he also has to do it through his formula, but his own way.
So he doesn't even do his own meditations, huh?
Of course, he doesn't do his meditations. It would be a bit annoying to listen to yourself all the time. It's amazing for reprogramming, but then it's just without talking, that you connect to yourself without any words.
Our viewer who wrote us this message, she also had the second part of the problem, which was that she said sometimes all of a sudden money appears out of nowhere and she's super happy for it, and then she's trying to recreate that same experience, but while she's trying to recreate exactly the same experience, it's not working, and once she starts to forget about it again, it will start to work again. This is something that I have experienced when I went to Dr. Joe's retreats. The first retreat was super magical, something out of this world, and I thought when I go again I'll have exactly the same experience. So I was still trying to look for the signs, for the little synchronicities that will lead me again to that same experience, but it just doesn't work that way.
Eating the same food, same times, wearing the same t-shirt in which you had the creativity going or the mystical going, having the same meditation socks and stuff. Dr. Joe Dispenza also makes fun of himself about it because he was chasing mystical this way, and he says these stories about himself that he was also trying to recreate these experiences with the same things, like football players, they always have to have the same underwear. I don't know how many years they don't wash it, or some people have weird rituals which they believe into, and if they are broke, then they are broke as well because of the ritual, or the underwear fell apart, or I don't know.
Yes. And I think for this, there's not really a method to solve that. This is what I feel, something that we continuously have to learn to really surrender. And yes, we have had that experience once and it was really magical, but we trust into the universe and into the infinite energy that there is also another experience which I haven't seen, which might be even better. And to really let go of all expectations, because Dr. Joe Dispenza says that the science proves once you don't expect anything, the unexpected happens.
Today we were watching for a little bit Couples Retreat. It's a comedy, you probably know it. And you also see in there the process of those couples going to this amazing island, and they are not believing the process and they are still resisting the process, and they are going up and down in relationships, and first day they fight, then they don't speak to each other, then girls are with girls, boys are with boys, and then they get together and they love themselves again. But it's a process. I see how it's well planned, and it looks like a divine planning there, and you can observe there how we are also not trusting, fighting sometimes with some things which don't work our way, but it's just getting us into right prepared state to receive, to be open to receive and to give.
So we basically can say everything that is happening, even if it's not happening according to our plans, it has to be that way, because it will lead us in the end to this really magical place.
Because imagine if you would manifest $5,000 once. I would love if you could recreate this all the time. So you can do it over and over and over again your whole life. But what if there is something more? What if you are supposed to be connected more to yourself, and you would never get to that connection if you would be able to manifest all the time the same way, right? You would miss it, and this is probably not your target in this lifetime. That's why you can't recreate $5,000 all the time, because then you become addicted and
all the time the same way.
All the time the same way, and you can't do all the time the same way. You can't live the same way, and probably your spendings would increase, and you would want more and more and more. And therefore there is this ability to play and to understand yourself more and synchronize yourself so much that you will get into that state where you will be able to manifest differently and become very much humbled by the experience. Because always when you manifest anything in your life, the bigger and higher you get, the more you will be able to see, and the bigger and higher you get, you actually don't need as much. You feel that you need less and less, and you become more humbled. That's what happened to me actually more and more in my life, that whenever I needed something, I was brought to totally different path, which I thought it's totally different, but it was actually the right place for me to evolve much more. How about you see your life as exciting ability to create, and while creating, and you think that you want to have something and you want to achieve something, you think that, your mind thinks that, it's just a way, cheeky way of a divine to make yourself connected more to yourself.
To get you on the journey.
Yeah. It's actually Dr. Joe's Dispenza's retreats as well. Everybody wants to go there for healing, for abundance, for relationships, but he says the true reason why you go to my events is because you want the wholeness, you want to feel whole, and then you have everything. So thank you to our unlimited creator, or I could say better, playful creator, for this question or for sharing your struggles. And I hope this video will inspire everybody who is on this journey, because it definitely made us think about this topic, because it happens to us all the time and we have to still keep us aware of it. And sometimes we become more lazy, and sometimes we do the work very well.
If you're currently going through some manifestation struggle as well, there's a form beneath the video that you can fill out, and then we can maybe feature your story in a future video as well. And if you would love to share some more time with us, we highly recommend you this video here about manifestation next.